Hello, everybody. I hope everybody is having a blessed day, had a blessed weekend, and everybody's enjoying themselves. So today's video, I wasn't going to do it today, but it has been brought up a lot recently. Seems like you guys are just struggling with this one, and it's okay. Especially after the movie After Death came out. I think you guys might know where I'm going with this. Some of you are just stuck on the Bible and hell, all right? So today's topic is really going to be about that. Is hell real? And I've told you in previous videos and in my own near-death experience that hell does not exist. Sin does not exist. So we'll dive into that just a little bit today. Again, I don't want to keep the videos too long. I just want to make my point and go from there. Sorry about my voice, guys. This past week, I was extremely sick. Coming to the end of it, but I'm still a little bit stuffed up. So, you guys, please forgive me for that. So, today's topic, hell, does it really exist? And we'll jump right into it. So, as I said, my near-death experience, hell does not exist. I am the epitome of a man that should have been sent to hell. I was not a good person. I really wasn't. I had no love or empathy even for my own children. I did what I wanted, when I wanted, how I wanted. And it did not matter if you were male or female, child or not. I walked right on over you. It didn't matter. I just wasn't a good person. And I knew through my bisexual experiences, because at this time, prior to my death, I firmly believed that the Bible was God's written word, his very breath. And upon my death, that was proven instantly wrong within a trillionth of a second. Okay. I should have not been where I was. And the more guilt that I felt, the more ashamed I was, the more love was bestowed upon me. And then the next question that pops up is, well, Jesus died for your sins. No, Jesus did not die for my sin. He didn't die for nobody's sins. Jesus simply died because he broke the law. He died as a common criminal. All right? He did not die for your sins. And the mode of execution back then, and especially against the Jews, was crucifixion. Today, we call it lethal injection, right? You simply get put to sleep and they stop your heart. End of subject. It's a death sentence. Jesus had a death sentence for breaking the law. So, when people have their near-death experiences, one of two things happen, all right? You have the most beautiful experience in the world, like I did, full of love, light, colors, and the most amazing experience that none of you are prepared for. There's nothing that any NDE has talked about that I haven't talked about when it comes to what you experience on the other side, as far as the beautiful NDEs go. All right? Now, those, and any of you have seen the movie After Death will be fully aware of Howard Storm's hellish experience. So let's dive into a hellish experience and what it is. So as you saw in the movie, right? Howard left his body and died. And prior to that, or while he was speaking about it, he was talking about, I was a very successful man. I had lots of money. I had a great career. And all of this materialistic things that he was talking about, right? Well, when we leave this place, we cannot in any way, shape, or form take anything back home with us. Because nothing here is real, right? Nothing here is real. It's a playground, it's a matrix, it's just a dream, an illusion. But some get stuck with the materialism, the good job, the money, the house, the big cars, all of this stuff, right? So when people that transition from the game, right, the illusion, into what you call the void, all right? Some of them, as in the movie, you saw Howard Storm and what he created. Ladies and gentlemen, the void is simply pure consciousness, okay? There is no physical realm anymore to stop your thoughts from manifesting instantly, okay? Howard, when he transferred over, or others, were terrified, okay? I cannot leave this. I cannot leave my beautiful wife. I cannot leave my house, my money. He's holding on to the wrong things, okay? He's not holding on to what really matters here, which is love. Love is the only thing that is real, okay? So he's stuck in the material world, and you cannot bring that home. So when he was transitioned over, he was in the void. And the movie did a great job of, showing what his manifestations were. They weren't of puppy dogs and kitten cats, right? He was terrified, screaming at his wife, trying to get her on. Why can't people hear me? Why? He's more alive in the void or in heaven. The void is simply the lowest, realm of heaven. It's like the bottom tier, the lowest tier you can get to, right? It's still heaven. You still have access to your physical mind. So, out of fear, which he was terrified, what did he manifest? He manifested evil, right? He didn't manifest, puppy dogs and kitten cats and ice cream cones. No. He manifested everything out of fear. And what appeared instantly was those manifestations. Why? The void is simply 100% pure consciousness. It is in the realm of heaven. What you think manifests instantly. It doesn't take, like here in the physical world, when you meditate and you are going through your mantra and you want, say, you're lacking money in your life and you want abundance of money. So you manifest that money. It will come, all right? But it takes time. In the void, things happen instantly, okay? It happens instantly. You want to think of a demon? Demons don't exist, but what's going to show up? A demon. You want to think of a beautiful kitten cat riding a bike holding a pink umbrella? That's exactly what's going to manifest in front of you, okay? So now he was stuck, or those that have hellish experiences are stuck because they're holding on to an unrealistic world, unrealistic things, material things that do not exist. You cannot bring those home. You will enter the void every single time. How do I know this? 2 years after my NDE, I was struggling with depression. I was deeply depressed. And I got up and I was kind of mad, I guess, kind of upset. Why did you keep me in the hospital? You give me this great thing, right? And I'm above my body and I'm experiencing all of this. Nobody should ever complain. And yet here I am complaining or whining, why couldn't I go through the tunnel? I said, why couldn't you take me home? I'm stuck in this stupid hospital at the ceiling. And none of it was stupid. Believe me, none of it. There are no words to describe the love. There are no words to describe the colors and all of that, which I described in my NDE. All right. So when I went from my bedroom to this couch, the second I laid down and I put my head on that pillow, I was yanked out of my body and everything was in instant black. I mean, the depth of the void in which I say blackness exists is incomprehensible to any of you, unless you've been in there. It is exactly that. It is void of everything. But in that moment that I was pulled out of my body, now mind you, this is now 2022, around March, and I'm being pulled through this black tunnel, and I'm in the void, and I'm moving at the speed of light, and or faster, I don't know. It was unbelievably fast, and there was nothing there. Nothing. And I'm being pulled through this tunnel, and through the tunnel was an oscillating like grayish white light, and it was just like circling around, and I could see nothing in any direction except way off in the distance. And I mean, it was maybe the size of a pinhead of a white light, but all around me was nothing but blackness. And while I'm traveling through this tunnel, I'm thinking, I'm going home. Father heard me, right? So in my void experience, I'm full of love. I'm going home. There was nothing evil there to manifest. Why? Because I wasn't manifesting evil. I wasn't thinking of evil. I wasn't thinking of being scared. I was going home, and I knew it. So as I'm traveling, okay, this light now is getting bigger. Now it's a little sliver, and I don't know how long I could have been 15 hours. I have no clue. But then the unconditional love started, and more light started to permeate through this tunnel. And now all I see in front of me is the most magnificent white light. It was the most beautiful white I have ever seen, other than my NDE. And I knew where I was. Again, I was on my way home. And next thing you know, as in reality or life, is light shreds darkness. It overcomes it. It kills it, essentially, right? So everything around me now, I am surrounded and engulfed. Even I'm in this tunnel, in this white light, is all I see. And I'm now getting so close that I got right up to it. I mean, within a hair's distance of entering the light. And had I entered that light, had I crossed over into it, my body here on the couch would have died. It would have died instantly. That was the ticket home. That was home, okay? And had I crossed into that white light, this body would have died, all right? So let's go back to those hellish experiences. My trip in the void was absolutely beautiful and wonderful, but all I was thinking about was home and love and everything else, and there was nothing evil to be had, all right? Again, it's your vibration, it's your mind. As I told you guys before, it's a powerful weapon, the most powerful weapon there is, okay? You have two minds. You have your physical mind, which you still have access to in the void, believe it or not, okay? And that's where the fear and the manifestations come, all right? So getting back to Howard and his experience, he was terrified, right? So what was he experiencing? A hellish, experience. Being led away by the dark robes and all the things that he's manifesting in his mind out of fear has now instantly come true. So as he said, he was being torn apart, which I have no doubt in my mind, because that's what he was experiencing, or up here anyway, that he was thinking. So he was experiencing it. And then here's the beauty of it, okay? And this is the truth for all of you, okay? So I need you guys to listen to this very carefully, all right? In his mind somewhere, because he was an atheist, right? He did not believe in God. He did not believe in any of it, right? And if you want to delve deeper into the Bible, which I'm not going to because I already did a video on it, but what is the unforgivable sin, everybody, to all you Christians out there, right? What is the unforgivable sin? The outright rejection of the Holy Spirit, right? So what are atheists? They flatly reject the Holy Spirit, God, right? Eternal damnation, supposedly, right? If it were true, which it's not, but there it is, the unforgivable sin, the outright rejection of the Holy Spirit, which all atheists do. Why? Because they don't believe in it or God. So what does Howard do, or anybody in that situation? And I've listened to several hellish NDEs, and they all turn out the same. So what does he start to do? He starts to think, God, Jesus, started a prayer of some sort, right? Our Father, whatever it is. In that moment that he called out to Jesus, he raised his energy out of the void, right? He raised it significantly, hugely. He rose. And what happened? As in every hellish NDE, when they cry out to God or they cry out to Jesus, instantly the light appears, right? And then they are taken home or further up in the realms of heaven. And they had the most wonderful and beautiful experience, okay? That's all hell is, ladies and gentlemen. It is simply a state of mind where you're at during your transition. If you are too low and you are stuck in this materialistic world because all you care about is money, your prestige, your doctorate degrees, and all of the stuff that the non-physical could care less about, you're going to enter the void. And you very well may have a terrifying experience. It's kind of like, when you're teenage kids, they're into drugs and alcohol early on. What do some parents do? They send them to a military boot camp to what? Scare the shit out of them, right? To scare them straight. And, 90% of it works for those kids. They're terrified, right? Same thing with the void. It's kind of like setting, getting you back on track. And it's simply a state of mind. You still have access to your physical mind in the void, all right? You're not fully up there yet. You're there in heaven, but you're, at the bottom rung, man. So every single person that has entered the void has had a hellish experience. And that is because their mind manifests darkness, right? How many people are scared of the dark? Say you're up watching, it's 2 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, right? You've had a couple cocktails, I want a pizza. You run down in the basement, you have the windows open, the door shuts, the light all of a sudden shuts off. You're terrified. I can't see. And all of a sudden you're starting to listen to any little creak or whatever. What was that? You're terrified. You're not, there's nothing down here. So, no, you're freaked out. And then what do? You're feeling around, you find the stairs and you run back up the stairs and hit the light, right? Your heart's beating. Same thing in the void, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? It is simply the direct manifestation of your thoughts. Why? Because the void is simply 100% pure consciousness. It is the non-physical world. You think of something, before it becomes a thought, it's instantly manifested in front of you. And I thought they did a very good job in the After Death movie of showing that with Howard. His manifestations, his anger, his, this can't happen to me. I'm successful, I'm rich, and all of that, right? And then what does he do? He calls on God, he gets saved, he goes home, and then he runs right into Catholicism. And I was like, wow. Okay, I'm not going to judge him, but if that's where he thinks he needed to go, is there anything wrong with it? Nope. I was the opposite. I left without questions, hesitations, or doubts, and will never return to any kind of organized religion, especially Christianity. But that's where he needed to be. And if that's where he needed to be, there's nothing wrong with it. But what he did do was call on Jesus, thus raising his energy and his vibration of love, which is what we are. We are love, we are light, and we are energy. We are non-genderless. I am not a male. Okay, I am not male. God is not male. Father is genderless. We all are. But somehow, even in my case, in my transition home, I felt like I was his one and only son. Okay, and that's not true, because when I told you, I was one with everything. Okay, that means me, you, the grass, the trees, the snakes, the plants, everything, the birds, ants, and not only with everything here on this planet, but in the universe, the sun, the stars, the dark matter, the black holes, everything. I was one with everything. So, the void is simply that. Hell is simply a state of mind in which you create and directly manifest your own hell. All right? And that's all it is. Hell does not exist except in your own mind. And if you want to live in hell here, if you want to live in this matrix, in a hellish experience, by being sick, by having no money, by not having a car, possibly being homeless, hungry, what is that, ladies and gentlemen? That is free will, right? That is your free will to live in a lower vibrational state. Everything here in this illusion is free will. So if you choose to live in that lower vibration, then you're going to be down on the ladder, just like Howard was when he transitioned into the non-physical. Had nothing to do with hell and demons. He made it up here, and it instantly came true right there in front of him. You know, he knows that now, but to those having that experience, it's very real, just like mine was real. So that's really it. That's hell. And you can have it here in the physical world, or you can have it in the non-physical. And those that choose to have that experience in the void simply go to the void because their vibrational state is not high enough yet for them to enter the higher realms of home, of heaven. That's it. And the moment they cry out to God or Jesus, they're taken home. They're encompassed in the love and the light. They're ensconced in it, right? And they're home. They know where they are. And why everybody's NDEs are so different and yet the same is because everybody's version of heaven is different. My home in heaven is different than yours. So when I transition back home, my experience is going to be different than yours, right? Some people think that they're going to go walk up the stairs to the St. Peter's Gate or whatever that is. That's what they're going to see, right? They're going to see Peter standing there and open up the gates of heaven. If that's, some will enter and be on a mountaintop full of beautiful flowers and trees and forests, or see a lake or a home or whatever. That's your version of home. Then more than likely, that's where where you're at. So that's where you go. And that's why they're all different, but yet every single one is exactly the same and talk about the same things. So those that are struggling with this version of hell or sin, they don't exist. Remember I don't know if it was manifesting or in the Bible video when I said, when you can learn to free your mind of the millennia of untruths and lies and manipulations given to you by the church, because many of you that watch this and some of the negative comments that I get are diehard Catholics. You believe in a book that's not true, that has been lied, rewritten, and literally has rewritten Jesus out of the Bible, his true message, which is love. And he simply came here to show us how to wake up from this dream, to show that we have the exact same powers that he does, and that Jesus was no more or less divine than any of us. And he said it. We are all gods, period. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, get out of your mind. Get out of it. Get out of that physical mind. It's run by the ego. The ego is not your friend. The ego is a false belief in who you are. Main method of communication: attack, condemnation, and judgment, right? Which will all keep you moving down the ladder. We have all let go of the reins and have given full control to the ego. Not me anymore, but for, most of this Western society, it's ego-driven. Money, materialism, fame, greed, all of that, all run by the ego, okay? And when you enter the void in that state of mind, you will enter the void, and you will, a terrific chance that you are going to end up having a hellish experience, because that's where you are stuck, and you cannot take any of this home with you. You cannot. Not any part of it can you take here. The whole idea of waking up is to let go of this dream, to just say, well, I'm through with this crap. I had no love of my body at all. It was not divine. It was not sacred. It was, as I said this before in other videos, it was no different than a snake shedding its skin. I had no love of it, and I absolutely did not want back in it. And to this day, I still do not want back in it. I want out, and I want to go home. But I know what my purpose here is. I followed my guidance system. And during these last few months of brutality that I've been going through, it has shown me that. And I know exactly where I am and what I'm supposed to do. And I will not stop. I will not. And I want all of you to understand how precious you are, how loved you are, not by just me, but by the non-physical. You are all woefully, woefully unprepared for what you are going to experience when you leave your body, when it's time to transition home. I know you've listened to my testimony and others. That's great, but there's nothing that can accurately describe in this archaic language what you are about to experience. And for most of you, 80, 90%, you are going to experience the unconditional love, peace, joy, knowing, everything. You are going to experience waking up in the most beautiful place that, that you're just not prepared for. Some of you, like Howard and others, are going to enter the void, and you are going to manifest evil, all right? And that is because you're stuck, partially because you think God is human, that there's a human God up there holding a stick or a baseball bat or whatever you want to believe, a tree branch, and that is going to whack you and beat you and send you to a place of, eternal torment. And that is the most, I can't believe, I don't want to say harsh words, but it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And that is only because I've had my NDE. All right? God is love, God is light, and God is energy. We are love, we are light and energy. God is not human. Neither are we. The vehicle we are driving is. That is the extent of it. It is nothing more than that. All right? So, you're all stuck on thinking God is human, and he's not. There is no judgment. Period. Ever. Never will be. In any one of your lifetimes that you have had, there has never been judgment. Some of you in past lives have killed yourself, and I'm sure I'm one of them. Okay? You go home. All right? Depending on your contract and how difficult an experience you wanted, it's written into your contract that you may have a 35 to 45% chance of killing yourself. The non-physical knows that. All right? So if you do by chance hit that mark and you do kill yourself, you go home. Okay? This suitcase is, done and over with, and you have no love of it. I have no love of mine. Okay? I want to take care of it. I'm losing a lot of weight. I'm eating healthy and all of that good stuff. So in that aspect, I don't want to live in pain. I want my body to be healthy while I'm here. So, but other than that, and if you've watched the After Death movie, when that girl, where they took out all her blood and stopped her heart, she's sitting there looking at it going, whatever, I have no love for it, and it's just, and that's the case, ladies and gentlemen. It's simply the case. There's no love of it. So, do not fear hell. Hell is simply a state of mind. That is all it is. You can have hell here in the physical world, and most certainly when you transition out of this realm home into the void, you will create hell. But it is simply a low vibrational state. You're stuck in the physical world, which you cannot be, because you're holding on to materialistic things that aren't real. So I implore each and every one of you, all right, listening to my videos and listening to me, raise your energy. Love. Do not judge. I don't care what situation you're in and what is going on in the world. Do not judge. You are not to judge. And I failed at that my whole life. Okay? I failed at it my whole life. I judged everything and everyone, and it kept me in a lower vibrational state. That is something I will not do. I do not judge anything or anyone, no matter what the circumstances are. Period. All right? I have no love of materialism. I have no love of any part of this illusion or game down here, other than loving all of you and doing my very best to help each and every one of you who are struggling through, could be addiction, sexual abuse, whatever it is. I want you to know that you are loved, that you are not alone, and that you have no fear. Okay? Do not fear something that is not real. It is all up here. So when I told you this before, free your mind. free it, and the rest will follow. And by that, I mean, you will relinquish all fear, all judgment, and you will live a life of happiness and bliss. Your life down here will no longer be a nightmare of sickness, cancer, maybe you're a smoker, drug addict, alcoholic, whatever. You can make it all go away. And it's all through love, ladies and gentlemen. It is simply that simple, okay? Not only when you start to love, and I mean, it's got to start with you, okay? If you don't love yourself, how can you love your children? How can you love your spouse? How can you love anybody out, here? You cannot. And that was my very first lesson learned, was I had to love myself. And when God spoke to me, when he said, why not? You are my son. I dropped to my knees, I forgave myself, and I instantly loved myself. And I truly love myself like there's no other. And that is how I'm able to love all of you and to come out here and give you these videos and help you through these difficult times. I have learned to meditate. I'm not the best at it. This last week, I really didn't do much because I was horrifically sick. So, starting tonight, I'm going to get back into the game. And it takes practice. And that gives me the ability to free my mind, to feel my energy, to feel my love, my divinity. And it is simply a beautiful thing. So that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. Hell does not exist, okay? The void is simply 100% pure consciousness. When you start to think of something in the void, it instantly appears. There is no physical realm for it to wait to happen. It happens instantly. And if you want to think of evil and demons, like being torn apart, then guess what's going to happen to you? That's exactly what's going to happen to you. If you want to see a kitty cat holding a pink umbrella, riding a bike, eating an ice cream cone, that's what you're going to see, okay? But, when you're in the dark, you're scared, you're aware of all your senses, but you can't see. We all know how that goes. So I implore all of you, love one another, love yourself. Love yourself like there's no other. Forgive yourself for allowing yourself to feel this way your whole life, ladies and gentlemen. Forgive yourself, all right? As I said in my sexuality video, there is no judgment. It is nothing but love, all right? So love yourself, love your neighbor. Do not judge. Raise your energy so when you transition home, you won't enter the void. You will have the most beautiful experience, all right? And for those of us that have had those beautiful experiences, our energy is high. Our vibrational state is high. So when we transitioned like I did, I was in constant, in my NDE and love and beauty and warmth and the knowing of being home. So that's it today, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted you guys to know it, that I get asked all the time, hell, how come these people are having these hellish experiences? Hell must be real. Then no, hell is not real. Hell is in your head. Get out of your head. All of you, get out of it. It's a bad place. It's run by the ego. And until you can learn to control the ego, don't listen to those thoughts. And like I said, you've had centuries, millennia of lies, manipulations, and rewrites of the book that you call the Bible. That isn't true, all right? So get out of there and just realize that you are love, you are light, and you are energy, and that you are the direct manifestations of God. There is no getting away from that, okay? There is none. The reason we're here, the part of our being that is here, which is our, our personalities, that are actually in this body, this vehicle, is a very small part of who we are, And if we're direct manifestations of God, of our Father, there's no way we can remove ourselves from that. It's impossible. It will never happen. So part of the game was, we just said, okay, well, guess what? I'm going to go to sleep and I'm going to imagine all of this. And this is what we're imagining. Okay? And when I look around, I'm not fond of what I'm imagining, so I'm changing the contract. I followed my guidance system, and I'm here doing, what I was meant to do, what I came here to do. And yeah, that's me changing the contract from what I originally started out doing to where I am now. And my physical world is changing in front of me. And you all have that power, okay? You all have it. So love one another, ladies and gentlemen. It's Thanksgiving weekend this week, so I hope everybody out there has an absolutely wonderful and blessed Thanksgiving. Spend time with your families. I'm going to be by myself. That's just who I am. So I will have a beautiful Thanksgiving myself. So have a wonderful holiday. I love you all very much. I'm going to put that out there again. I've asked it before. If you guys want me to do a live thing where you guys can enter the studio and ask me one-on-one questions and so on and so forth, but I need an overwhelming yes before I go out and do all of this. So if it's an overwhelming yes, then I'll set something like that up. If not, please keep putting your suggestions down there. Again, you guys know that I am reading them and that I'm responding to them. But I wanted to get this one out because you are all so very important to me, and I want every one of you to feel the love and the beauty that we truly are. So have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Have a beautiful holiday. I love you all, and I will talk to you again next time.